Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeffrey Clark. I'm the broker owner for Clark Realty here in St. Petersburg. And today we're gonna do a comprehensive map video where we're gonna dive into all the different sections and neighborhoods of St. Petersburg, give you a breakdown of where the restaurants are, where the major roads are, what kind of neighborhoods are here, and the different kinds of homes that you can find. But before we do that, let me give you a couple key takeaways or key notes about St. Petersburg to help you get to know this city that we love. So St. Petersburg is a coastal city in Florida. We're in a little peninsula just to the west of Tampa. And St. Petersburg is bar none my favorite place I've ever lived in Florida, and I've lived all over the state. St. Petersburg is commonly referred to as the Burg by its locals, and good citizens are recognized every year as good burgers, B-E-R-G-E-R-S. It's just kind of like a fun local slang that everybody uses. St. Pete is known as the City of Sunshine, with over 361 days a year on average dedicated to gorgeous sun and a beautiful tropical vibe. Just an overall really great place to live. The median price for a rental here in St. Petersburg is about $2,150, and currently here in January of 2025, the median house price is $475,000. In the last few years, St. Pete has seen a lot of growth and development, not just in like our downtown and our construction, but also just general net population growth. Prices have gone up a little bit like it has everywhere, but especially in our housing market. Overall, St. Pete is a thriving, growing community. So without further ado, let's hop in, go into the map, and show you the neighborhoods and the main things to know about St. Petersburg. All right, we're back in the office. Let's pull up the map and show you guys what it's like being in St. Petersburg, the key areas to know in some of these neighborhoods and roads. We'll start here. So obviously St. Petersburg is a coastal city on the west coast of Florida. We're just to the west of Tampa, just to the south of Clearwater, and just to the north of Sarasota. You can see starting with where our little blue dot is, that's where I'm located here in my office. Our office is smack dab in the middle of downtown St. Petersburg. So let's start with downtown St. Pete. And generally this is kind of like the hot spot of St. Pete. The housing costs are a little higher here compared to the other parts of St. Petersburg, just because you are in the most desirable area. A lot of stuff is walkable here. And this is kind of where the city's heart beats. This is where the restaurants are, the museums are, the events are. This downtown St. Petersburg is kind of like the spot you would go visit if you were a tourist, or the spot that you'd go check out on the weekend looking for something to do. So we'll give you guys a cursory overview here. So let's get a little bit more into the map here. So right here you can see is the St. Pete Pier. So let's drop our little guy and show you guys what it's like down here. And this is one of the most beautiful areas of town. If you go down here, we will get to Bayshore, and Bayshore Drive is kind of right at the base of the pier. Let's go down. So there's our pier, and our pier is gorgeous. There's a lot of events that happen over here. There's a really nice restaurant down here. But also nice about this area is there's all this open park space. And then right here, let's actually go back to the map and drop one street over. On the other side of that park where we just were is Beach Drive. And Beach Drive has a bunch of cool shops, restaurants. There's a Kilwin's ice cream that I personally love. And just on the other side of that, across from the pier, is one of my favorite museums in the city. And this is the Museum of Fine Arts. It is a gorgeous museum. It's huge. It's got some amazing artwork, but also a cool cherry on top there is there's a cafe inside this museum called Cafe Clementine. And Cafe Clementine has some of the most gorgeous pastries you've seen. It's really more of an experience than, you know, it's than a normal cafe would be. So the pastries are a little more expensive, but if you don't mind a $10 cupcake, this will be the most beautiful $10 cupcake that you've seen in your entire life. Just kind of a cool aside. Let's go back out to the map. So in this downtown St. Pete area, the median rent is going to be somewhere in the ballpark of $3,200 to $3,500, and the median house price is going to be just shy of $1 million. And again, that's because you are in the most desirable area of St. Petersburg with a lot of the high-rise luxury condos, access to restaurants. Here you can see 400 Central, which is being built. Actually, they just finished construction on the height. Now they just have to build everything else out, but it has maxed out in height now. And where we are here is a good place to further our tour, which is Central Avenue. And Central is, as it sounds, one of our central roads here in St. Petersburg. And Central kind of cuts through the Central Arts District. And along Central, there's shops, there's restaurants, there's, you know, activities, there's everything from art to, you know, little boutiques. We did a VR experience on one of these things here. It's just kind of like the happening spot. This is kind of where the nightlife is because it spills over from downtown St. Pete. And a lot of this is walkable or scootable if you live in the downtown St. Pete area. And this is like one of my favorite spots of St. Petersburg, just because there's so much to do and there's so many cool little unique experiences you can have. There has been a problem in this area lately, which has been as St. Pete's become more popular, it's gotten a little bit more congested, so parking's become a little bit problematic. But they are constructing a bunch of additional parking areas, parking garages to make people have easier access to access these shops and things. So zooming out, let's also talk about some major roads here, because this will be a good anchor point for you guys. And if you see this road here that runs north-south through St. Petersburg, this road here running north-south, let's zoom in on that, because this is going to be 4th. And 4th is another one of our major roads, kind of in the same way Central is our major east-west road where there's a lot of shops and restaurants and things. 4th is our major major northwest road where there's a lot of restaurants and shops and things. This is also where there's a lot of grocery stores. There's also other activities and things you can do. A famous staple of St. Petersburg is the Sunken Gardens. So anytime you drive down 4th, you'll see this big sign for the Sunken Gardens, and this is a gorgeous spot to go visit. Definitely something that you will want to do if you're visiting the city. But like I said, there's also, you know, Publix's, Trader Joe's, there's a Panera, pretty much anything that you would want as a local resident you can find on 4th. And it's a little less, you know, like Central is very much like restaurants, boutiques, those kind of things. 4th has that, but it's more of the day-to-day essentials as well. So you wouldn't find a Publix on Central. What you would find is, you know, a new restaurant, a bougie restaurant, but on 4th you'd find the Publix or the Trader Joe's or whatever else it is. Then built off of 4th is a couple other very popular neighborhoods in the city. So first let's talk about this section up here, which is the historic Northeast. And we actually just did a video on this in the historic Northeast. And this is one of the best places to live in St. Petersburg, which you can imagine. You know, here, if you're living in downtown St. Petersburg, you've got a lot of condos, a lot of luxury high rises. Here, it's mostly single family residential homes with bigger lots, a little bit more room to breathe, but you're still in very close proximity to both the parks over here as well as downtown St. Petersburg. They've got these really cool, classic brick paved roads, most of these streets do. And you can find everything from small cottages to mega mansions out here. There's a lot of history that happens here. And then this neighborhood also once a year is really well known during Halloween for basically going all out. And they will close down some of these roads, go extra with decor, and literally they shut down the roads and people will come mob the streets. Everyone takes photos. It's a really fun time. But yeah, these are just really nice homes, really good spot to be. And it's walkable to parks to see the water and very close to 4th where like all your grocery shopping and everything is. So if you can afford to live in the historic Old Northeast, a lot of people choose to. Kind of cousins to the historic Northeast is the Crescent Lake area. And that's going to be surrounding this lake here, which is, as it seems, a crescent, hence the name, very creative. And Crescent Lake is one of my favorite neighborhoods, but also one of my favorite parks. This is it's either a 1 mile or a 2 mile loop. I want to say it's a 2 mile loop, but it's just this beautiful, gigantic park that people like to go walk around, you know, kind of take in the nice sunny sunshine. On the other end of this park from where we are, let me drop us back off on the south end, is some dog parks where people can come bring their dogs. There's some pickleball courts here. And the homes here, also similar to the historic Northeast, are larger homes, larger lots, a little bit more expensive just because of their ideal location, but again, just a very nice place to be. Now, if you go out a little bit, kind of more into like this section, some of the homes get a little bit smaller and more affordable, but still, again, a very desirable neighborhood. To the north of the Old Northeast is Snell Isle, and Snell Isle and Shore Acres were kind of lumped together because a lot of these homes people move into because they want to be close to the water. Now, there's pros and cons to this. The pro is you are close to the water. It's also a pretty good location, very close to grocery stores, not far from 4th, and you can hop on 4th straight to downtown, or you can go north and get right over to Gandy to get to Tampa. It's a really nice place to be. The downside is flood risk, and unfortunately most of the homes, if not all of the homes here, do require flood insurance unless they're built up, and unfortunately a lot of these homes did get flooded at the end of 2024 when we had some storms come through, but still quite a beautiful place to be. Homes here, especially in the waterfront homes, are going to be in the multi-millions. You can obviously find homes for less than that, especially if you're kind of up in this clustered area, or there are some smaller homes here that you might find in the 3s, the 4s, or the 5s, depending on condition. But for the most part, if you're close to the water, if you're at one of these larger homes, you are going to be expecting to pay $1 million plus for these homes. They're just like larger lots, larger homes, and kind of considered to be a more luxurious place to stay. But that is Snell Isle and Shore Acres, which is this section here. Now over here on the west side of 4th, and up here in this area that says Edgemoor and Meadowlawn, are a lot more affordable homes. These are kind of, think like the median house for St. Petersburg. So these are going to be your 1,000 square foot, 1,500 square foot, 2,200 square foot homes, but that are a little bit more modest and a little bit more affordable. You're going to see a lot of 1/4 acre to 1/2 acre lots, a lot of 2 1s, 2 2s, 3 2s, things like that. Not a lot of mega mansions, but what's nice about that is these are kind of the more traditional neighborhood. This is where more people can feel like they can access what everything St. Pete has to offer, being so close to 4th, being so close to 275, and being so close to downtown St. Pete, but without needing to spend millions of dollars, or $1 million-ish like you would if you were going to buy in the Old Northeast, Crescent Lake, or the Shore Acres, Snell Isle area. Another key area to be aware of for St. Petersburg is this Gulfport region. And Gulfport, even though it's not technically in the city of St. Pete, is kind of lumped in with St. Petersburg. Gulfport is known for being kind of a more artsy area, especially if you go down to downtown Gulfport. And same thing, kind of like just cute, beachy bungalows. The vibes here are a lot more relaxed. One thing that's nice about Gulfport compared to St. Pete is Gulfport doesn't have rules about short-term rentals, whereas St. Pete doesn't allow Airbnbs except for a couple times a year. And yes, there's people who are breaking those rules, but the rule is you can't do it. Gulfport doesn't have that rule. So a lot of people like that because they want to buy a second home. They want to be able to short-term rent it when they're not there. Gulfport's a good spot for you to consider doing that. Okay, so that's Gulfport. Another area to be aware of is our beaches. So you can see kind of along this road here, we have a ton of beaches, and not just beaches, but world-class beaches. Pretty consistently, St. Pete and Clearwater trade places for being the #1 best beaches in the country. And I can tell you from firsthand experience living in the state and then vacationing to some of the other best spots in the country for beaches, it does not get better than here. We've got gorgeous sand, clean beaches, fresh water, and not just good beaches, but like a ton of good beaches. There are miles and miles and miles of beaches here that you can access. And so definitely you would want to check out St. Pete Beach, Treasure Island, Madeira Beach, Reddington Beach. And if we go into here, you can see there's a lot of housing over here. So there's everything from beachfront condos to single family homes a couple streets over. There's some parks. There's really everything you would expect from a beach town that, you know, is internationally known for being gorgeous and beaches. There's a lot of very touristy stuff here. There's some 55 and older communities. There's just a lot to take in here. If you like the beach vibes, this may be the area for you if you can afford it. Again, though, anytime you're near the water, you need to be aware of flood risk. You need to be aware of flood insurance. And so that's true for here as well as anywhere else. For the waterfront St. Pete Beach area, the median rent's gonna be somewhere in the mid-2s to the low 3s. And then the median price point for the home is about $800,000. Again, there's less expensive options if you want a smaller home a little farther out from the water, or you can spend millions of dollars if you want a very nice luxury condo on the water. But really the choice is yours, just kind of gives you a frame of reference for that market. Then separate from that, here in the center of the peninsula, we have Pinellas Park, Kenneth City, Lealman, which again, technically are not in the municipality of St. Petersburg, but are kind of wrapped in when people talk about St. Pete. And these are markets where there's usually no flood insurance required, no flood risk. You can get more of a median home, a more modest home. Again, back to that discussion before about you can find a 1,300 square foot 3.2 for under 400,000 in these markets. But they're still great places to live. I live in this region here, and there's this road that you should be aware of as well. That's 34th Street North. And this is another important north-south road that kind of takes you all the way up the peninsula from St. Petersburg up until Clearwater. So there you have it, a quick map tour of the St. Pete region. If you have more specific questions, obviously we'd love to help. We help people every day buy and sell homes in St. Petersburg as a top 2% real estate company here in our market. So if we can be of service to you at all, just reach out to us at the information below or comment below some other video topics. We want to provide value. We want these to be useful to you. So without further ado, like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.